Visualizing the most used languages on the internet. Don't scroll down yet. This is I love these type of infograph type things. And this is something curious to me especially because I analyze it on the YouTube channel, different people that watch from different countries. And I got to say, I'm a bit skeptical actually of this list once you do scroll down. I'm going to just say it right away. The number one most used language on the internet is English. Now go ahead and guess your number two. Or just take a deep breath and clear your throat.
Number two.
Language on the internet.
What do you think?
I don't know. Based on people, Chinese, like Mandarin.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with. I don't know if you call the written form of it Hindi, but I'm gonna go with Hindi.
Yeah, he's going Hindi. According to this, it's Russian.
Whoa.
And Chinese doesn't show up until number 10, and Hindi's not even in the top 10.
Whoa.
So
way off.
I'm very confused about this particular study. And I presume that part of the reason is that the analysis was maybe around certain websites that are more directed at specific languages, because it says here's a look at the top 20 most used languages on the internet compared to their real world use among the global population. And it also says, English is the most common language online used by 60% of the top 10 million websites. So what's weird to me is that list of websites is key here in how you're going to run your analysis as far as which websites constitute. Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah,
what are the top 10 million websites, I guess, for global traffic?
Probably all English. English is the unofficial language of the internet.
But maybe it's just more a time thing, that there's been more accumulation of English websites because of adoption of the internet and the pace. But anyway, it's interesting nonetheless. I'm sure somebody's going to want to take a deeper look into it. But what is cool is seeing the relationship of internet percentage for the top 10 million websites versus the share of the speaking population globally in the real world. So in the case of English, you see 60.4% of the top 10 million websites are English. But the share of global speaking that is actually English is only 16%.
Oh, I got
The
you.
share of language globally is only 16%. And if you go down to simplified Chinese, you'll see 1.4% of the top 10 million websites, but then 14% of the speaking population of the globe. And if we go to the next page where you would have, do you got to go 2 pages? Oh, Hindi is not even on here, but it's the third most spoken language in the world, but isn't one of the top languages used on the internet compared to everything else. Now this, I should just say, one of the reasons I'm skeptical or curious about how the data was accumulated is because of our YouTube analytics, right? Now, I have increasingly seen viewership in places like India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines. These are the major growth regions for us, and India at the very top of that. And I'm sure it's not just for us, but YouTube in general. And you're seeing some pretty significant percentages. And I presume those individuals speak both English and Hindi because our videos are in English.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. I'm quite curious about how that's not on this list.
Yeah, well, you bring up a really good point about the accumulation of the 10 million websites and what they're counting as language use. Like if someone was to go on Facebook, like a Russian speaker, let's say, was to go on Facebook and post in English, does that count as a use of language on the internet? Or are they talking about articles, news articles that are written and published in English? It can get kind of fuzzy, I think.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. I would not have guessed Russian number 2.
Yeah, it is kind of what you said too about how English could be a second language for a lot of people.
I'm sure tons of Hindi internet users and watchers who watch Lou
Yeah.
Later on Box Therapy
Yeah.
are watching tons of stuff in Hindi and in English.
in English, but they also speak. It's very
It's a
interesting.
great way to practice too, going on a forum and reading a language you want to learn and trying to reply in that
Mm-hmm.
language, or watching video content in another language with like closed captions on.
Yeah. Some other interesting ones below Russian. You have Spanish, Turkish, Persian, French, German, Japanese, Vietnamese. That's the top 9. And then simplified Chinese at number 10. Didn't expect to see Russian in second. However, it is important to note Russian is obviously spoken outside of Russia, including in inside of countries that used to be a part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting. Anyway.
Very interesting.